Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth. And you know what happened today? I woke up and I thought, we haven't played a Florian Wortmann puzzle in a very long time. And the main reason we haven't played one in such a long time is, it's not like Florian has, retired from setting puzzles or anything like that. It's just he's been setting much harder puzzles than what we have been featuring on this channel. Now, nevertheless, he's a phenomenal constructor, and when I saw this particular puzzle, I just couldn't resist, which is called Unshackled Whispers. You can see that just about in the picture here, it's just, it's a long enough title that the S is slightly chopped off, the U is slightly chopped off. And what you have here is a picture of Sleuth, tied to a chair, shackled to a chair, you can say, trying to unshackle himself, and for some reason, the criminal is sitting right behind him in this cabin with a gun held up to him, and I have no idea why. And I imagine Sleuth is trying to distract the criminal from, the fact that he's trying to untie himself with whatever whispers he has to say. I can say Sleuth looks a little bit worse for wear. It's almost like unshaven, a little bit tired. You can imagine that would be the case if you're held hostage, so good luck, Sleuth. Get out of there. Right, enough of all of this. Let's take a look at the actual puzzle. So, we have Unshackled Whispers by Florian Wortmann. And can I just say, before I give it a go, is once again, just the diagrams that are obviously there. So here is like what is very clearly like a shackle or handcuffs. Potentially two of them. I guess that's almost like the story here. It's just, maybe that is just the one, and that's kind of your arms going through them, and it's just two of them. And a relatively short set of rule sets compared to what we have been playing recently. Of course, we're back to 0 digits in the grid, as you can see. That one phenomenal puzzle we had, where we actually had, 10 or 11 digits. Yeah, long gone, as you can see. Rule sets. Normal Sudoku rules apply. So that means the digits 1 to 9 in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. Now, under the same sentence, or I should say same paragraph, Florian goes on to say digits may not repeat on the marked diagonals. And you can see two blue lines in here, one negative diagonal as in it's descending, one positive diagonal as in it's ascending, although these cells are clearly not part of the diagonal. Now, I imagine the reason Florian put them in the same paragraph as normal Sudoku rules apply is these diagonals are 9 cells in length. And therefore, because we're not repeating any digits, they have to include also the digits 1 to 9. So we've got 1 to 9 in rows, columns, boxes, and the two diagonals, which, I'm going to struggle to highlight quickly like that. Right, what else do we have? We've got German whisper lines. Regular viewers of the channel are going to be familiar with this, in that neighboring digits on a green line must have a difference of at least 5. And it does go on to say digits can repeat on a line if allowed by other rules. So imagine that this is a 2 in this cell. Now, it has two neighboring cells on the line to this 2, and these have to be from 5 or more away. So 5 or more away can only be 7, 8, or 9. Now, imagine that this happens to be a 7. This cell would have to be 5 or more away, and because we've got 2 in the box, that would be a 1. Now, if you observe very carefully the line that I've just kind of pencil marked in, you've got a low digit, 1, 2, 3, or 4, a high digit, 6, 7, 8, or 9, low again, high again, and that repeats all the way around in that it oscillates between low digits and high digits. And notice in my list of low and high digits, I did not include the digit 5 in either of them, because if you try and place a 5 on a German whisper line, you will totally struggle. You cannot find the digits from the digit 1 to 9 that is 5 or more away. Right, last rule we have is crop key dots, although it is really only just the black crop key dots. Digits joined by a black dot are in a 1 to 2 ratio, and not all black dots are given. So if that was continuing with our 2 example A2, this would have to be either a 1, as in literally 1 to 2 ratio, or 4, as in 2 times 2 is 4. Now, just because, this has a black dot on it, doesn't stop us from actually having something like this. That doesn't require a black dot between them. There are no negative constraints. something of a bit of a tradition with Florian's other puzzles, the Colorado series. If you've not seen those, you absolutely should. I'll make sure that I link to them. They're amongst my absolute favorites in terms of Sudoku variant puzzles. Well, that's all the rules. So if you fancy trying to help Sleuth unshackle himself, get out of that wooden cabin, escape the madman that's got a gun pointed to him, link in the description down below as usual. And with that said, well, first off, wish me luck. I mean, this looks like a harder puzzle than some of the many others we featured on the channel. So fingers crossed. I'm going to restart the clock now and see how I get on. And I think I get on, well, at least to start, fabulously, because I can place a digit in under 10 seconds. Look at that. And the reason I can do so is if you look at box 5, German Whisper, yeah. None of these can be a 5. Only place in box 5 that can be a 5 is here. Although the other way you could have done this as well is if you take a look at the diagonals, all of these are also German Whispers, which I imagine is probably where I'm going to go next, or soon. Something that I'm just going to point out now, so I don't have to explain it later, is on German Whisper puzzles, such as the one that I'm kind of solving right now, I tend to go with colors in that 1, 2, 3, or 4 as in low digits are blue, think thermometer cold. High digits are 6, 7, 8, or 9 as in thermometer hot, red. And then 5 would be gray in some sort of neutral color. So you're going to see me use these extensively. That's my intended meaning behind them. And I'm kind of tempted to think about the diagonal next, but maybe what I'm going to do first is just color these. Now, I don't know if they're blue or high, so I'm going to deliberately choose a different color from what I would normally do. So these are purple and these are orange. I have no idea whether orange is high or orange is low. All I know is that they are definitely oscillating. Not that was particularly helpful, if I'm honest. What I am thinking, though, is helpful is I really should sort of learn to think out loud. So I'd love to color this shackle, but if you look in box 5, it doesn't really help. And maybe it will, it's just not yet. I've only got 2 oranges and a purple. So technically, nothing stops me from doing the following and then just coloring both of these purple. That would be fine based on the contents of box 5. But I don't think that's correct. And the reason I think so is, so I have 2 purples already on the diagonal. No, let me go around it the other way around. Where does 4 and 6 go on the diagonal? That's probably the better question to ask. And the reason I ask about 4 and 6 is, if you're not already aware about German Whisper, so we already mentioned that the 5 can never be on a German Whisper line, but the 4 as well as the 6, I'm going to place it in here, are highly restricted in that there is only one digit that is 5 or more away for each of them. So if it's a 4, it's only 9. If it's a 6, it's only 1. So a 4 and a 6 can never have 2 adjacent neighbors that can see one another. So where am I going with all of this is these 2 purple cells have 2 neighbors that can see each other. They're in the same box. So that can't be a 4 or 6, otherwise I'd have to repeat the double 9s or the double 1s in the same box. And the same is true in here. And just because of the, I mean, like with the exception of the black Kropkilos, there's clearly a very rotational symmetry of this puzzle. Essentially rotate everything 180 degrees around the center point, and you get pretty much exactly the same design. So had these 2 cells been purple, because I'm going to actually deliberately color it something different for a second. Let's go with yellow. Let's go with green. So if purple heel is yellow, I can't put whichever, if this is the low digit, if purple is low, I can't put 4 anywhere. Can't put 4 in here because that would be 2 nines. Can't put it there, that would be 2 nines. Can't put it here, that's 2 nines. Can't put it there, that's 2 nines again. And then I'm like screwed. So a long way of saying is these are definitely orange. These are definitely purple. And now the 4s and 6s can actually hide in the corners where they have only one neighbor. So again, I don't know which one is the purple, which one is the orange, or really, I actually almost don't care what's purple and orange. I only care what's blue and red. I don't know which is which. All I know is the only place on the diagonal that is safe to put a 4 or a 6 is in the 2 corners. So one of them is going to be 4, 9. One of them is going to be 6, 1. And as a result, it actually helps me with this whole setup. Lovely. Now that allows me to then pencil mark the rest of this as 2, 3, 7, 8. And if purple is low, that would be a 2, 3 pair. If orange is low, that would be the 2, 3 pair, and that's the 7, 8 pair. And then I'm going to continue to ask the same question. Where does 4, 6 go in box 5? Now, you might be tempted to think I can place a 4 or 6 in here, because these two neighbors don't see one another. But remember, we've already established that 4 must be surrounded by 9s, which this cell cannot be, and 6 must be surrounded by 1s, which again this cell cannot be. And I mean, like, regardless of which one of these 4 cells you pick, they're going to see a cell that's 2, 3, 7, or 8, not 1 or 9. So this absolutely has to be the 4 6s. And therefore, the cells that see them have to be the 1 9s. And we end up with like a 4, 5, 6 in the diagonal here. I don't know their color though, which is frustrating. Wow, this puzzle could almost be called the 4-6 puzzle. So I was just carrying on thinking, right, so 4 6s are here, and then I'm just looking at row 5, and imagine potentially column 5. We'll take a look at that in a second. Where can 4 6 go in row 5? Well, it's not this cell. It has 2 neighbors in the same box. It's not the cell that I've just selected there. It has 2 neighbors in the same row. Same. Can't be here because, well, I mean, we've already pencil marked the 4 6s. So it's neither of these cells. This cell has 2 neighbors. This cell has 2 neighbors in the same box. Only place that the 4s and 6s can go is in here. And if there is a 6 on a black crop key dot, it will have to have a 3. If there's a 4, it would have a 2 or 8. And I said I'll look at column 5, but just before I do so, I think these black crop key dots are the key to the whole puzzle. So I mean, it's quite common for Florian to do this. You can just about, you know, if you look at some of the Colorado series, you can just about basically color the entire grid, but you almost never know what's low or high until you get to the very end of something that is not part of the symmetry of the puzzle, or the almost like the standard rule set that breaks it and helps you actually understand what's what. And we've kind of got something very similar going on here in the sense that this puzzle is entirely rotationally symmetrical with the exception of these 2 black crop key dots. If it was perfectly symmetrical, this domino would be in here. But the fact that the dot is shifted 1 cell up is going to be, I imagine, quite powerful at some point. I mean, that was all helpful to think about and say. It's just, it doesn't help me right now. So column 5, this is not 4 or 6. This is not 4 or 6. These two are not 4 and 6s because they have neighbors in the same column. And these two at the very end are not 4 6s because they have neighbors in the same box. So once again, 4 6s are, I mean, I don't want to say writing themselves in. You kind of have to see it, but you get a lot of 4 6s. The issue is, I mean, like, again, it doesn't really help us a lot. I mean, if I can figure out that these are different, for example, then I eliminate 4 6 from here, forcing it to be 1 9, and this would be the 4 6. And the fact that these two are different would make these two different, which would eliminate the 4 6 here and making that 1 9, and that would be the other 4 6. I mean, one can dream, huh? I am going to add one more color, unfortunately, because I don't know anything about these. It may help me think about them a bit more. The reason I just sort of, because, you know, if I'm trying to understand whether these are different or not, getting a sense of what's what in here may help. Almost. Doesn't feel like it's helping right now. It's just, it may help. So everything that I've done until this point feels like reasonably easy deductions. But I'll be honest, I have no clue where to go next. Here is something though. And I'm sorry, I'm doing it again. I'm not thinking out loud. So coloring the greens and yellows is helpful because now I can look at this cell and say it is not 1 9 because it's not the yellow 1 9 which I've already pencil marked in the box, and it's not the green 1 9 which I've already pencil marked in the row. And we've already discussed that this is not 4 or 6. Have we discussed this? I think earlier when I was talking about I put a 4 in here, a 6 in here. And this is not another 4 6 because that would require 2 1s or 9s in the same column. So this is now 2 3 7 8, and I imagine something similar is going on with this cell. Is that the equivalent cell? Yeah, that's the equivalent cell. It's not 4 6, and it's not 1 9. That's 2 3 7 8. And the reason I kind of wanted to bring that up is look at row 4 now. I have a 2 3 7 8 quadruple. I'm sorry, I'll go back to thinking out loud. Now, sorry, there's a lot of thoughts that are going through my mind. These two are purple, therefore these two are orange. The fact that they're both orange, and remember, one of these has to be a 3 because 6 goes with a 3, means that the other one is a 2. Because obviously 3 and 8 are of different colors. So these are not 8, and therefore orange is low. Didn't think I'd find it that way, but I'll take it. This is now blue, and purple is red. And I didn't mean to... what did I just do there? I don't know how that happened. I probably had these selected or something. So these are purple, and yeah, purple is gone. It's now red. Orange is gone. It's now blue. These are therefore not from 2 and 3. And for some reason I erased the color in here and in here. What am I doing? Who knows? Hopefully I haven't made a mistake there. Hopefully. Sorry, I am, like, rather than just double checking this, I am just gonna rewind. Thank you. Because I didn't select colors, I selected 2 3. That's why. So So that's the mistake I made. So now let's try that again. That is orange, which is now blue. That is purple, which is now red. This time round, I haven't actually messed anything up. These are not 2 3s, and these are not 7 8s. That's looking a bit better. Right, back to where I was. And then one of these is a 4, and therefore blue. One of these is a red, and therefore 6. 2 and 3. Look at this. This has to be 1 9, because that can't be 4 6. We've already established, because the 4 6 can't be next to a 7 8. And in fact, it is a low digit. This is 1. These are 9. And therefore that's 4. That's 6. And these are 1. And I actually know what green is. Green is high. Yellow is low. And look at that. We colored it. Only in 15 minutes though. Okay. Let's see if we can actually, move a bit faster now. Nines. This is the only place for a 9. This is another 7 8. I'm kind of tempted to say, so the reason I'm sort of, I was tempted to say this is the 7 because it's got a 1 next to it and I can put a 2. But the fact is I don't know what this digit is. So I can put a 2 and then another 1 or 2 in here. Yeah, I can put a second 2 and have that as a 7. So tempting, but not correct. What else do I know? I know this is not a 4 because that's not 2 9s. Therefore, this is another 2 3. Actually thinking about it. No. What am I saying? This is the 1 because the 4 is on the end and I've got the 2 2 3s, so this is fine. This is, again, we've got the same thing going on in here, 4 6s, so these are 2 3s, and therefore these are 7 8s. No. One of these is a 9, that's the 9, and that's a 7 8. Sorry, I'm just doing Sudoku reasonably quickly here, just to sort of fill in what I do know. Turns out I know quite a lot of it based on what I've pencil marked so far. That's 2 3. Well, I mean, it can't be 4, but can't have it because that's not a 9. So that's another 2 3. 2 3 in the same box has to be different. And therefore, this has to be 8. Can't have a 3 next to a 2. It's only 4 away, not 3 away. And therefore, that's a 2. This 8 means that's a 7. This can't be a 6. Can't have that next to a 2. And I've already placed 7 and 9. That's an 8. That's a 7. That's an 8. That's a 7. Therefore, that 7 tells me that is the 2, as I suspected. That's the 2. This 3 gives me the 2, the 3, the 2. Come on. It's nearly there. Yep, 3 forces an 8. Well, I mean, the 7 also forces an 8. This could be either 1 or 2. And this is not 1 or 2. This is 3 or 4, but it's not a 4 because it's next to an 8. That's 3, therefore that's 8. And yeah, that's still 1 or 2. So I'm taking a moment to just think about rotational symmetry, and therefore there should be a digit somewhere in here that I can deduce. Based on this 3, I should be able to place a 7 down here. Why can I place a 7? Because 8 and 9 are not available, and this can't be a 6 because I've got 2's next to it. So that is a 7, and I'm guessing I'm not going to be able to place this one because it's not 7. It's not 6 because it's got 2 2's, but it can be either 8 or 9. So same challenge as this side. So far, the rotational symmetry is holding out. Is it? Yeah. Looks like it. Yeah. At some point it's going to break because of these two. And I'm guessing it will break in these boxes, which I've largely completed, so I may as well give it a good go. So the 3 in here, I don't know how did I miss this? And the 2 in here. So that's 3, therefore that's 6. That's 4, therefore that's 2. That's blue, that's all the blues done. That's red. So I still need a 4 in one of these 2 cells. And therefore I would need 5, 7, and 8 in here. And I don't know, well, definitely a 7. No, why did I say an 8? Actually, yeah, I can place a 6. That is 5, 7, and therefore this is 4, 8. And I can place a digit in here, that's a 5. You know, come to Sudoku Sleuth, he'll make Sudoku look difficult sometimes. It's kind of weird that I can place the 5, I guess, yeah, back to the asymmetry part. It's just, it's so strange that I can place the 5 in here, but then I struggle with this, you know, row 4 is done, but row 6 isn't. But I think it makes sense because I get these 2 digits, which helps me place this. Hopefully that made sense. I can take this a bit further now. This is not a 4, therefore this is not a 9. This is not a 6, therefore this is not a 1. I'm kind of done, really, other than, I mean, because essentially the German whisper rules have like really got almost everything out of it except for these 2 cells. The black crop key dots are done, and at least the negative diagonal, if I can even select it, is done. So maybe it's the positive diagonal next. 1, 2, 3. This could be 4. No, it can't be 4. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. This is 7. Let me guess 3. We've got, yeah, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and 2, 1. That's 3. Shall I just, yeah, I should probably do a bit of Sudoku now with those. Wrong color. 3s, you can see I can place it in here. I'm ignoring this one because it's on the diagonal, you can see, so that's 3s. And then that is all the 3s. 7s. I might not get the same sort of distance with the 7s because this 5, 7 is not resolved. I'll give it a go anyway. So no 7s here because of these 2, no 7 there because of this one, no 7 on the diagonal because of this one. That's a 7. 7 is not in here, not in there because of these 7s. It's in there, and that gives me the 5 and 7. Lovely. And that's 7s done, 3s done. Go on then, 2s and 8s. No 2, 8 here, that's 1, 9. Let me guess, yeah, no 2, 8 there, that's 1, 9. And therefore that's 2 8s. And I can place it. 2, looking at this, that's the 8, that's the 2. Can I? No, there's an 8 in here. I think 8s are going to be a bit of a struggle because of this 4, 8 is not resolved, but have I basically got all the rest? Almost. Well, I think the 2s I should be able to finish. Yeah, that's a 2. Very tempting to think that's an 8 now, but no, that's a 2 because of these. And I think that is all the 2s, isn't it? Got 9 of them. Yep. Shame is not true for the 8s. Right. I going from here? So I'd love to resolve the 8s, if I can somehow. Because then after that, the only thing that I have unresolved is 1, 4, 5. I've not really thought about 5s. Like the entire puzzle, I've not really thought about 5s after placing that single digit. So maybe I should take a moment to think about 5s, just on the off chance it's obvious. And I'm not really thinking about it out loud. It's just I'm having a look at the puzzle and I'm thinking, so, you know, there's a 5, there's a 5 in here. There's many opportunities for 5s, like a ludicrous number of places for 5s. So I don't think 5s is where I'm meant to go next. Right, how can I imagine I do need to resolve these next. And I'm just trying to think, how is it I haven't resolved them? They don't really seem to have much overlap. Really not sure where to go next. What I can do is have a look at like some of these columns, and is it just columns? Almost just columns. There must be some rows that are near completion. It's very strange that only column 3 it's only got the 2, but everything else seems so much more. So column 3, and I'll try and figure out later why is it that I have so much more here, needs a 4 or 5. I can pencil mark those. It's quite strange why it's only for column 3 that's like that. So I mean, like, the natural question that comes to me is, why is it that I don't know as much about column 7? And I think it's because of this silly 4-8. And then the other question like that comes along is, why is it that I don't seem to know as much about these rows compared to their equivalent columns? And I'm wondering it's just because of this kind of the style of the shackles, that they're kind of this way. I just don't get how that has anything to do with the fact that this favors me. No, okay, it's obvious now because the columns have all of these. But I mean, so does the rows. They have all of these and all of these. So I should know more. Maybe let me think about these. Maybe this is where I should go next. Well, it seems like, looking at it, that seems like a terrible idea. I mean, I don't know where 6 goes. It's in one of 2 spots. And it doesn't seem to share anything, because I still need to place a 1, which can be like almost anywhere, a 5, which can be almost anywhere, a 4, which can almost be anywhere. So like, this doesn't seem to be doing anything. I'm guessing the same is true in here, even worse, because I still don't know whether this is an 8 or 9. So we know one of these is, I don't get that. I don't even know the order of this. I don't know that this is 4, 6 and this is 1, 9. Can I eliminate 1s at all? Yes, I can. Goodness me. Right. This one, look at that. It's not here. And therefore it's restricted to one of these 2 cells and removes 1 from here. And therefore I've got a 4, 6. And that's a 1, 9. Let me guess, the 9s is doing something similar. Nines, nines, yep. 9 is in there, which gives me the 8. Maybe I should have done this way earlier. This is not a 9, and therefore this is a 4, 6, and this is the 1, 9. This 8 bounces back. That's not an 8. That's an 8. That's a 4. That's an 8. Not sure why it took me so long to see this, but... Right, 4, 6 in here, 1, 9 in there. There is a 1, 9 there, but there will have to be a second 1, 9 in the column, as well as another 4, 6. Just sort of completing this column. So, and then the sides, I have a 5 with one more 4, 6. I don't know which one it is, but it's a 5 plus a 4, 6. And I'm guessing the same is true in here, in that I don't think the corner pencil marks are helping me really. So I've got another 1, 9, another 4, 6, and then I've got the corners that are 4, 5, and 6. And in fact, it's actually 5, 6, 4, 5. I'm guessing, yeah, I remove the 4 in here, the 6 in here. And again, 5s. So 2, 3, 7, 8 means there are 2 1, 9s, 2 4, 6s, and a 5. And I'm wondering if it's time to color again. I don't know if it's going to help me at all, if I'm honest. I'm not sure it will. You know, if these see somehow these, that would be helpful. Now, maybe that is what I should be thinking about. Yeah, I am going to color them the other way around. Green, yellow. So yellow, the yellow 1, 9. Where does it go in this box? It actually almost doesn't matter, because it's not in these two cells. No, I was going to make a mistake here. I said it, therefore it's a 1. That's not true, you know, because I've got it placed. So it's not in these two cells. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the 1. It could also be the 9 and be in here. What's interesting is yellow is in one of these two cells and one of these two cells. But there is no real guarantee that this is yellow and therefore this is green, which would be immensely helpful to know. We've got the same thing going on here. With green. Got something going on with 4s, but again, you can restrict so many of these to like 2 cells, but then you look throughout the rest of the grid and suddenly it's just, they've got choices, plenty of them. So, you know, 4s, not in these 2 cells, it's one of these 2. They're not in here, but I've got 3 options, including 2 different rows in box 2. And then I get to box 3. Ha 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 ha. Yes, this is a 4. Love it. Right. 4, not these 2 cells. That's a 4. Now notice in box 2, that's where the 4 can be. This 4 eliminates it from these 2 options. But because we managed to pencil mark all of these, that's 1, 9, that's 5, 6. 4 is now restricted to these 3 cells. Now, most importantly is that between box 2 and 3, the 4s line up in row 1, row 3. That's not a 4, that's a 5, that's the 4, that's the 9. That's a 1, that's a 6. Says, yeah, that's a 4. For a second, I was thinking I was very triumphant. And then suddenly I ran out of steam totally. But I think it's probably just that it's solvable from here. That's kind of my guess. Yeah, the yellow was 1. Therefore, that's 1, because that's yellow. And that's 9. And I'm going to remove yellow and remove green. Remove green. That's better. That's better. And I think I've got it from here. It's probably just, I'm going to say approachable Sudoku, because as you saw earlier from me, I did make it look quite difficult, but I imagine from here it is quite solvable. So this is 6 and 1. This is 1, 6. This is therefore a 5. This is 9 and 6. Don't know where they are. Doesn't matter. I'll take it. Kind of surprised I haven't resolved these yet. I'm sure I must have soon. 907, blah, blah, blah. 5. One of these is a 5. What? Right, let me just think a bit more. Excuse me. 1, 6, 5, 6, 1, 5, 6. I would have expected it to resolve a bit more quickly. Have I just not had enough things in the grid? 6, 9. So I need 4, 6, 9. This is a 4. It can't go in here. That's the 4. That's a 5. That's a 6. That's a 1. That's a 6. That's a 5. 6 is 6. Doesn't tell us which one is the 4, 6, unfortunately. I have 5 and 9 in here. This 5 tells me the order. That's 9. That's 5. This is 1 and 4. Not resolved. This is another 1, 4. That's a 1. 4, 1, 4, 6. 4, getting there. Not 1, 1. And then I need 3. 3? How did I just totally forget that I haven't done all the 3s? 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the 5s. 5's in here. That's the 5. I need 6 and 9. 9 tells me that's the 9. That's the 6. That's the 9. That's the 6. And the solution to today's puzzle. 37 minutes. It's a beautiful puzzle. I mean, I'll definitely say that. What happened there? Yeah, I keep doing it. Let's make sure I select the right digit. Right digit. And that's nearly all of them. And the 5, there we go, that's full coloring of the grid. Right, so I think 5 was obvious. Sorry, I'm just kind of replaying what I've done earlier. It feels like I should have been able to solve it in under 37 minutes. And I think I just kept getting stuck often. So the 5, then thinking about the 4, 6s, and then the 2, 3, 7, 8s. The 4, 6s again, 4, 6s again, 4, 6s again. And then realizing that this is not symmetrical, spotting the 2, 3, 7, 8, forcing the 2 blues, and finally giving us the color. I don't know when I resolved the color of this. I can't remember the step that got me there. So I think that went very smoothly. And then I went down this diagonal, which was going fairly smoothly with the 3, 7, the 1, 9, which wasn't resolved for a long time, the 2, 8. But then I think the struggle that I had was at that point, it was just, maybe I just don't play enough Sudoku. I just play variants. So it took me a long time, I think, to see that the 4 in here that forced these 4s to line up, and therefore this was a 4. That took a long time. And I think if I just spotted that at the beginning, because I went down like a bit of a goose chase, really. I was like, is it 1? Is it 9? Is it 7? Is it 5? I almost tried every digit before I looked at the 4. And I don't know why I did that, because I did say at the very beginning, relatively early in the solve, that this was the key to solving it all. So I really should have looked at these 4 6s way earlier, way earlier. Right. Florian, a masterclass as always. Thank you so much for the puzzle. Absolutely loved it. Hope you guys enjoyed the puzzle. Hope you enjoyed the video. And see you back for the next one. Bye for now.